Hello and welcome to the Mill Creek View CEO Special with me, your host, Steve Abramowitz, where I interview the best business people and entrepreneurs. Jim Holmes is the CEO of Energized Health of Columbia, Tennessee. His personal mission statement is stand for our faith, family, and community, devoted to growing as leaders, parents, and servants. Jim enjoys adventure, challenge, outdoors, and hobbies such as golf, ping pong, swimming, puzzles, and skiing, and now pickleball and taking time with family and friends. Tracy enjoys hiking, walking, running, interior design, social time with friends and family, and being a mom. Also pickleball?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tracy, let's start with you.
Sure. What
got you to leave wild success in your past businesses and get into the health and wellness markets full time?
Well, about 5 years ago, we had a daughter who was really sick, and she was in the hospital 4 times in 1 year, and she got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis and celiac disease. And at the time, she had 2 small children, and her husband traveled a lot. So I was constantly, going to her home, staying with her, and trying to take care of the grandkids. So we decided, Jim and I, to try and find something more natural because the medications that were given to her by the doctors were also creating additional problems for her. So through that, we were just really trying to find something. And lo and behold, we got in contact with John and Chelsea. They shared with us the vision of Energized Health and what it could do for her. And so when we actually did the protocol, we actually introduced it to our daughter and my elderly father, and it reversed her health conditions. She's no longer on medication. She's celiac free. She's ulcerative colitis free. And my father got off of 11 medications, who literally was dying at the time. So when you experience something like that, it's really hard to say no when someone asks you to pray about it and see if you'd like to join them in their quest to get people healthy on a natural level. So
that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, I love my wife more than anything, but I don't think we'd be successful working together side by side every day, day in and day out at our business. How do you do it?
Well, Tracy and I, we've worked together our whole married lives virtually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When we first began, we started together in a insurance business, an insurance brokerage, and we worked side by side in there for about 15, 16 years. And then after that, we had a real estate brokerage, and we worked together there as well, side by side. It's interesting because when we talk about working side by side, it's not like we're in the same place when we work. So it's kind of an ebb and flow relationship when we work in business together. And so for myself, I was actually really coming into my retirement place in life. I was not really looking for an opportunity. I'm a business guy. I've been involved and owned and operated many businesses, ranging from insurance, real estate, marketing company, restaurants, even a boat dealership for a short time. Well, I say short time, about 7 years. So I'm a business person, and really that's my true DNA and passion that God has given me. Is I just like taking things apart and putting them back together better. Mm-hmm. And so we've been together in almost all of those things in different ways and different roles. We work well together. It's a supportive, healthy environment for us, but it's not like we're in each other's way type thing.
Well, I think because we also, understand each other's giftings. Like I know what Jim's really good at. He knows what I'm really good at. And we kind of stay in those areas. I think it's when you try to cross over into someone else's lane, per se, it does not work out so well. So we just stay in our lanes and we honor each other in what we're doing, and we do it together, and it works out just fine.
That's great. And Jim, how did you decide that Energized Health was the place for you to be an executive?
Well, I'd known Chelsea for quite a few years before John, and after they were recently married, I wanted to meet Chelsea's new husband, John. And we got together for something as simple as coffee, and I asked John what he did. He shared with me that he helped people get healthy, reverse ailments, symptoms, even diseases, all naturally. People look and feel years younger. And coming from a guy that was really sick for a long time. So I fought with skin issues, headaches for almost a decade, ringing in the ears, neuropathy.
Sleep issues.
Yeah.
High blood pressure.
See, this is how we work together. She gets to finish my sentences, which is awesome. Yeah, all of that and more. Diverticulosis, diverticulitis, Hashimoto's, heart palpitations, brain fog. It was a bunch. And I was not in a very healthy, joyful place at that time. And so when we got with John and Chelsea and they invited us to really consider taking on this health protocol, we did it. And the results were extraordinary. And that's when it was just about 2 or 3 weeks in, right, Trace, that we invited our daughter in.
Well, ultimately, we were looking at it for our daughter, Jessica, our oldest daughter. But because of what John and Chelsea shared with us, what it would do for anyone, we were like, well, before we tell my daughter, because my daughter wasn't in the right state of mind to say, hey, do this without experiencing it ourselves first, we didn't want to give her any false hope, because she was really not in a place where she needed to try something again that didn't work. So to answer your question, yes, we did this a couple weeks. We were in it a couple weeks first. We said, we're going to do it first, and then we'll share it with her if it works. And then what happened in 2 weeks, Jim?
Yeah, I started to see immediate changes, Steve. And they just became more and more visible and more dramatic as we were going through the program. And that's when we invited our family, our daughter, and Tracy's father.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible. My father was actually dying at the time. He even told us that. He says, I'm probably not going to be around very long. And he was on 11 medications at the time. And I said, when we saw what was happening with Jim and myself in the first 2 weeks, we put my daughter immediately on it and then called my 82-year-old father and said, you're going to do this. And he had congestive heart failure. He had eyesight problems. We were getting ready to take his car keys away. He couldn't stand very easily, get up and down. He didn't sleep well. He had all kinds of health issues along with being on 11 medications. So we put him on the protocol. This is kind of a crazy story. Do you want me to tell it? Or you want to tell it?
Go ahead.
So as he's going through the protocol, we said, Dad, don't, you got to do this in coordination with your doctors. So if you're going to remove yourself off any medications, you need to do that with your, to let your doctor know what you're doing. And unfortunately, his response was, if I say anything to my doctors, they're going to try to scare me into staying on the medications. So he finished the program, and every month he would go for his blood work. He stopped all of his medications. I think a couple of them he took down to like half. Stopped them all. Every month he would go in for his blood work, clean blood work, great blood work, great blood work. The 9th month, they were like, clean blood work. And he was finally on the 9th month, he was like, by the way, I haven't been taking any of my medications for almost 9 months.
Wow. Well, that is the promise that is given. And is he still with us?
Yes, and he survived COVID twice. He's amazing. He's 87. He's still driving, and he's doing amazing.
God bless him. Okay. Well, there are a lot of fitness, diet, health, and well-being companies on the market today, maybe more than ever before. How do you differentiate yourselves in the world of health and wellness?
Yeah, it's easy for us because it is rather than a specific diet or a specific routine, we take several essential life steps that people do every day. People talk about exercise, nutrition, supplements. We take all of that and we put it into a protocol, a life program that they can do and sustain it. So it's not a weight loss program, that it really is a side effect, as you know.
Great side effect.
Of the health protocol. And we see when we put these things together in sequence, and we have the right technique, the right process, the right interval, and the right procedures, that the results are very predictable. And it's people doing exactly what our mission is. We help people to reverse symptoms and ailments and disease naturally and simply, in a very healthy, holistic, sustainable way. It is a body, mind, and spirit approach. And so it's not just the body, because there's a lot that happens in our mind that can affect our physical health as well. And that is different when we put all those things together and we make it simple enough where people can sustain it for a lifetime.
That's right. So your founders are wonderful spokesmen for the company and proven successful. You just described a real life one in your own family with many raving testimonials. How do you market yourselves?
So currently we market on several methods. Television is one. And so we can easily be seen on several major TV networks, including Fox or Newsmax, Real America's Voice, and others. We do some radio as well. We do social media. But many of our clients come from our raving fans. They tell others about it. They share it. Because when something happens to somebody that's so dramatic and visible and transformative, they have a hard time not telling others about it. So if you knew of something that was that great, you would naturally share it. And so a lot of our clients come from people just referring their friends and family and associates and people they meet and work. And
because they see the changes in their, they see them physically change.
Literally walking billboards.
Exactly.
Walking billboards.
Yeah. Better than a Nike swoosh on a golfer who probably doesn't really have Nikes on. But yeah, okay, Tracy, what are the company's plans for future growth? If the world finds out how amazing your program is, how can you scale it up fast enough to meet the demand? Well,
I think that's a great Jim question, but I will share with you one of the things that I'm doing is I'm an executive director with the company. And so we are partnering with doctors' offices such as chiropractors, holistic doctors, medical doctors, gymnasiums. So we're coming alongside and partnering with them. Our national ad campaign is now running saying, ask your doctor about Energized Health. So we really want to get Energized Health out there, and we want doctors to be able to understand what we do as well and help their patients as well.
So not just coaches internally, but outside
correct.
advocates.
So we're actually going into the medical industry and partnering with them. And of course the holistic side as well. But Jim can probably talk more on the...
Yeah, so we look at things a little in a couple different ways. There's growth, which is kind of more of a horizontal expansion into maybe other markets. So maybe adding, say, a nutrition or a beauty line. And then there's more of a vertical or scaling idea, which is doing what we do and expanding and scaling that. And so we look at those both ways. For us, healthy growth is more important than just growth. So it's really interesting. We're probably one company that does not really have a marketing department. Most companies, that's a vital piece in it, and it will be for us as we begin to grow in a much larger and more dramatic way. So we've worked really for the last several years, for the last 4 years we've been with John and Chelsea. It's really been on the foundation. Number one, working on ourselves, making sure that we are the team that can work together, collaborate together, and work in harmony together in healthy ways to actually build out the company. I like to think that number one for us, it's people, and two, it's culture, and three, it's finance, and four, it's philanthropy. And so that's how I look at our organization and measure our kind of our success or our key metrics in those four pillars, if you will, or quadrants. And so for us, we start with the people. We have to have amazing people in our organization, and we do.
Okay, I wanted to ask that about a company like this can't do it with just John and Chelsea and the two of you. Tell us about the employees.
Well, the employees are really special. It's the heartbeat of our organization. And actually part of our leadership is made up of people that come from the coaching department. 3 of our leaders in our organization started with us as coaches.
Transformers. Yeah. Well, they're all Transformers first.
So imagine this. Tracy is right. Imagine having a company where every team member in your organization is actually a client
first.
So when we're talking to what is called an employee, which we reference as team members, it's actually a client first. So just think of the culture shift when everyone inside the organization is actually a client. So it's clients actually helping clients.
Or alumni like me.
Or alumni just like you. So the culture, the people first, and we have a pretty cool way of of attracting people. All of our clients come from our transformation experience. And so they've already demonstrated that they're decisive, they're resourceful, and they're coachable, because you can't complete, as you know, our transformation experience without having those qualities. And so it's already told us a lot about the people. And so those are the people that usually raise their hand and say, I want to help. I want to join the movement. I want to join the cause. They're so blown away with what happened to them. They just want to help others do the same thing. And that is who makes up our organization. Transformers that want to help other people. So really, to summarize our people, it's a group of people with passion and a heart to serve.
Disciples. Okay. Well, a lot of companies in the space will get incremental revenue from selling products like t-shirts and videos, and even made for delivery good food like Jenny Craig, or food, I should say. I don't know about good. You've held off on that for many years. What are your plans for branding going forward?
We're just entering into a product line. We just came out with our first 3 products. We have not offered products. John and Chelsea were never really interested in being a product or a pill company. But we have come up with 3 proprietary products that really complement the protocol. And just really, those were born out of the desire to make it easier for our clients. They were asking, can you help us make this easier? And so it was really born out of that idea of just wanting to make life easier for people. We will continue to move into the things that complement the lifestyle that we live: activewear, accessories, some specific nutrition and supplements as well. So those are the things that are in the one we've just launched, some products that will actually expand out over this next year.
So tell us how you like to work with a patient's doctors or a client's doctors in order to achieve the protocol while still being involved in a healthcare professional situation.
So again, we do advise all of our clients to, maintain their relationships with their doctors, whatever their doctor's been advising them to do. And interestingly enough, the doctors are even amazed sometimes that some of our clients will come back and be like, I went to the doctors, and I've been in your protocol for 2 weeks, and they dropped my high blood pressure medication down in half. So your doctor is a good person for you to stay in contact with and monitor your health.
I enjoyed it specifically myself, because I was able to use my labs to actually follow along to say the protocol is actually working.
Exactly.
So I don't have the ability at home to do my own blood and cholesterol exam, but every 30 days, it was very nice to have insurance to be able to cover that. Jim, has a company ever had to pivot? Maybe when it was a small startup and trying to figure things out, did it ever pose a challenge that you had to overcome to get to the next level?
It has. And I think in any business that would be true. And most significantly, I remember we were, the business was a model of doing live events. And so John would advertise on the radio and invite, 50, 100, 200 people to a restaurant and serve them lunch or dinner, and offer to share the benefits of this health protocol based on intercellular hydration. And then many people would enroll into our program in that model. And so when we were getting ready to kind of, pivot to Energized Health, which was really the coming together of John and Chelsea bringing her experience and her desire to help people, especially with cellular trauma and actually live trauma. And then John's desire to, get people healthy with cellular hydration. It was kind of a relaunch. And so we were launching the Energized Health brand. And we had done exactly what John used to do for many years. We set up a restaurant to offer everybody lunch and teach them about our amazing protocol. And it was right
At COVID.
And so 4 days before the shutdown, we had spent all this money in advertising and marketing. And then 4 days before, we couldn't hold that event. So it was a point where we had to pivot our company into an online model. And that was a major shift for us. And it took us a year to really kind of get that together and going. And so today we have coaches in roughly 15 or 16 states. We're a national company. And we serve people all over America. And so it was almost that necessity became the mother of invention for us, or pivoting into this new idea.
Yeah.
And the great news is now we can serve all of America.
That's great. Yeah, it was a blessing. Are there any companies that look like yours that do things wrong, that if you were studying you in, say, a business class on what to do and not to do, you'd say you do better?
I think, and I'll just say this, and you can add to that, Jim, if you want. I think from if somebody's looking to lose weight, I think from that standpoint, that we actually teach people the right way, because they actually gain healthy hydration. They gain lean muscle as they're losing weight. So people see a drastic change in their skin. So I think from that point, versus these starvation diets or go work out at the gym for 3 hours, I see people at the gym, and I'm in my head, I'm thinking, if they only knew, and it's not my place to walk up to people at the gym and tell them, hey, I have a better way. But I think that's one of the biggest ones.
On that, I would say, and the only thing I would say to that is we change this whole idea from losing weight to losing fat.
Yeah.
So we are not a weight loss company. Losing fat is the side effect of getting healthy. So imagine increasing your body weight by say 6 or 8 or whatever pounds of healthy cellular hydration, increasing your body weight with healthy muscle, and then reducing your body weight with the dangerous subcutaneous or visceral and subcutaneous fat. That's transformation. And so when we get the body healthy at the cellular level, and we rearrange what is in the body, more muscle, more hydration. The body is, everyone knows, roughly 70% water, 2/3 water, depending on who you are. And most of the water is inside the cell, not inside the body. It's inside the cells. If you're healthy, it should be roughly 60% for a male, and roughly 55% for a female. And
hydration levels should be.
So I think the big difference is right. I think we're healthy fat loss while transforming your
from
body
the inside out. Yeah.
It's definitely not a diet as we would perceive.
No.
But now, the business of supplements is huge. According to Statista, 2021 sales were $60 billion, up from $32 billion in 2012. The use of dietary supplements has shifted from the body conscious and muscle building groups toward the general population. Where do you see yourselves playing in that market now and in the future?
We look at 3 main groups. So there's certain things, and we call supplements because they complement, but there are 4 items or 4 supplements that complement intercellular hydration. And then there's a group of supplements that would enhance building healthy, lean muscle. And then there's a group that would actually help people build their immune system. Those are the 3 categories that we actually recommend. There's some general supplements as well, and people can adjust based on their specific conditions or situations. We, of course, recommend that all supplements be taken in coordination with the doctor, of course. But those are the 3 main groups that we focus in: cellular hydration, building healthy, lean muscle, and building the immune system.
But supplements alone are not going to make somebody have a transformation like intercellular hydration. It's just a supplement.
Yep.
Right.
It enhances it.
Which I think you don't even make mandatory in your protocol.
No.
It's recommended.
Correct.
Okay. I took off your website. Our mission is to revolutionize and transform the health of people around the world, to educate, inspire, and passionately share your belief with deep conviction that the health and life benefits of our Energized Health Transformation Protocol. Well, Jim and Tracy, that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank you for running such a wonderful company and for helping me personally take years off my metabolic age and buy me a few more years, hopefully with my grandkids one day. Tell everyone where they can go out and find out more about the revolutionary Energized Health, and maybe for my listeners, get a free consultation to see if it's right for them.
I would go to energizedhealth.com. Energizedhealth.com, and I would just click the red button, watch the masterclass. John and Chelsea will give you 5 of what we call the secret shifts that you would need to be able to experience this opportunity. Or book a call with a coach. Just book a call really easy, ask your questions, and there will never be any pressure from us. Life has enough pressure of its own. So book a call, find out a little bit more about what we're doing.
Again, consult your personal physician before starting a program like that. Thanks again for joining us today, and good luck in the future for Energized Health.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today, we are in studio with John and Chelsea Jubilee of Energized Health. But first, for more information about the CEO special or the Mill Creek View stable of podcasts, visit us anywhere you get your podcast or videos at Mill Creek View. While you're there, please subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of the amazing content, and pass it on, and thanks for doing it. John Jubilee has been dedicated to transforming the lives of thousands since discovering a breakthrough protocol in 1998. His wife, Chelsea, passionate about seeing people fully healed, joined his side to partner in the mission to get people healthy at the cellular level. Chelsea studied and had a passion for seeing people get well in their mind and spirit. It was through John Jubilee's personal pain that he developed the solution to many health conditions. He discovered the power of intercellular hydration over 25 years ago. Together, they created Energized Health with the desire to change the world one life at a time. Full disclosure, I'm one of those lives. I'm an alumni of Energized Health and an ambassador for the company, and was a coach for a while after my transformation because it was successful for me. Today is an interview, not a medical recommendation, so be sure to consult your doctor before beginning any weight loss program. John and Chelsea, how are you today?
Fantastic.
Excited to be here, Steve.
Welcome to Tennessee, and thanks for joining me on the CEO special to talk to us about the business of health and fitness. Your breakthrough patent-pending intercellular hydration protocol has been proven to reduce the need for medications, reverse ailments or diseases, help you lose fast, and fully energize you in all areas of your life without restrictive diets or painful exercises. Chelsea, tell us how you assess a person's needs for your service.
Well, that is a great question. So generally speaking, we have people coming to us when they have reached a point in their life where everything that they have tried has failed them. So in the US especially, people go to their doctors. It's the first thing. It's their trusted source usually in their life. So they'll go, and typically it starts out where, what doctors know and are very good at is prescribing something to basically band-aid what they're going through. So let's say you have an issue that you're going to your doctor for. They will give you a prescription. That turns into a number of prescriptions because now you have to have a prescription to counter the side effect of the other prescription. So it's a little bit of a, rabbit hole. So what we do is we take people on a journey of assessing their health needs by really interacting with them and understanding what is the root cause of what caused these conditions in the first place. And that's a lot about the science of intracellular hydration. So we have a one-on-one personal coach that assesses that personally with them. It's actually a free consultation that they get to do with one of our amazing transformation coaches.
All right, John. Often we know what's best for us on the right thing to do for our health. Maybe we learned it on the football team in high school, or our mom's cooking for us. But along the way, we get addicted to quick and easy, unhealthy processed foods. How do you overcome the mentality of unhealthy lifestyles more so than the common sense need to exercise that we don't like to do?
Well, Steve, it's really the joy of my life. And as you alluded to at the beginning of the show, and wow, what an intro. That was very all-inclusive. You really nailed it. But because it was my own personal pain, and I actually will also, full disclosure, say I was also a sugar addict. So scientifically, sugar is 4,000 times more addictive than cocaine. So why would anybody take cocaine when they know it's going to destroy their life? Well, because it's fun and they enjoy it. It takes care of something for them in their life. And so if cocaine is that good and people would destroy their whole life over it, and it's illegal, they could go to jail, how much more exponentially, elaborate is sugar, right? Sugar. So sugar is way more addictive. It's legal. It's legal. The Krispy Kreme sign lights up and we all want to pull in there and get it because we are addicted to that sugar. So I was fully addicted to the sugar. And so I was just like everyone else. We all get sucked into this vacuum of, go watch any television program. The marketing is extraordinary, right? That food looks amazing in those commercials, the Burger King commercials and Arby's, and, all the food looks so delicious. And yet then when you go look at the ingredients of what's in there and all the sugar, that's in all these types of food. Go look at your potato chip bags in the grocery aisle. Next time you go to the grocery store, I challenge you, there's sugar in a potato chip. Now, why would you put sugar in a potato chip that's salty? To make you addicted to the potato chip. It's to make you addicted to it. And so we all get sucked into that vacuum of this addiction to the sugar. And I just can't help but do this for a minute to just help everybody, to give you a new paradigm shift, some new knowledge. What is sugar in your blood? Diabetes. What is sugar in a child's brain? It's ADHD.
Wow.
What is sugar in your eyes? Glaucoma. What is sugar in an adult's brain? Oh, that could be Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. What is sugar in your skin? It's aging, wrinkly, crepey skin. I mean, that sugar is literally detrimental at every stage. Sugar throughout your body, cancer. There's only one nutrient to a cancer cell, sugar. Cancer can't live in your body without sugar. So we all, though, have gotten sucked into this whole thing. Like all of, Fifth Avenue marketing has gotten us to buy into the sugar, the sugar paradigm, where we get addicted to the sugar. We go down that sugar road, diabetes, high blood pressure, autoimmune disorders. All of those have a root cause of two things, and that sugar also causes us to not want to, guess what? Drink water. So one of the signs people are dehydrated, Steve, it is a sugar addiction. If you're addicted to sugar, you are absolutely dehydrated. So that's why this breakthrough science of intracellular hydration reverses. It literally reverses that sugar addiction.
Wow, that is profound. That is amazing. Chelsea, people can actually transform their life, not just their body, at any age using your holistic and integrated body, mind, and spirit approach to optimal health at the cellular level. Our simple scientific and sustainable protocol benefits the person for the rest of their lives, you say. You don't often think of our waistline or big biceps like John there as it relates to our cells. Where do the cells come in?
So the cells come in. So a lot of people may not be aware of this. So we'll just do a little bit of teaching and educating and sharing here, is that the human body is made up of trillions of cells. So trillions with a T, trillions of cells make up your body. So what happens is your mind has cells, right? And attached to DNA. So you actually have the ability to reprogram, we like to call it, your DNA. So your cells, what happens is over time, when your cells become very dehydrated, they turn into like little marbles. And part of that dehydration process is from what we call cellular trauma. And cellular trauma comes in when you've experienced anything traumatic or stressful in your life, which, let's face it, we all have. It's just to which extent we have. And so what happens is your body does not properly balance your cortisol levels in your body. So it's almost like a flush that happens. It's like it floods our system and it flushes out the good and it keeps the bad trapped in the cell. So the intracellular hydration aspect of what we do actually turns that really marble hard like cell, that nutrition and hydration that you're eating and drinking can't penetrate the cellular wall because it's so hard. And so the process that we have, intracellular hydration, actually makes the cell turn from like that marble hard to a soft, porous like sponge, where it uptakes that healthy nutrition that you're eating and that hydration that you're drinking, and squeezes out all of the toxins that are trapped into the cell. And that's the process of intracellular hydration. And when you do that, it supercharges your cells. And because your body is made up of trillions of cells and you're making all those healthy, your body actually has the ability to heal itself. So we're really putting the body in a state of what we call homeostasis, which allows it to start that process.
Oh, and fat are cells. Are you shrinking them or actually flushing them out?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes. So fat is the same thing. So we call losing fat. So first of all, when people lose weight, we like to challenge them. What weight did you lose? So if you're 200 pounds, you lose 10 pounds. What did you lose? And most people they'll either say it was probably all water, or they'd have no real actual proof of what they lost. So we send everyone a special device that as they're losing weight, we can show them exactly what they're losing, and they will never lose a drop of water. So part of that fat that people carry, it's really cells that are really stuck. And remember, your body compensates. So fat cells have hydration in them as well. So your blood is mostly water. And what happens is the body will start to pull from the other sources inside the human body. So they'll start to pull and hold on to the fat. So a lot of women that come to us, or men, they'll say, I've tried everything and I just can't get rid of this fat. And one of the biggest reasons is because the body needs it to stay there so it can draw from its source. And so as you become hydrated and healthy, the fat just starts to shed right off because the body doesn't need it anymore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So shifting gears a little bit, John, this wasn't your first business, but you were obviously called to it. How did you make the transition from global banker to Energized Health?
Wow. Well, this was one of those life moments, and probably very few men experience a moment like this. Because I loved the banking. I loved the banking and what I got to do from a young age. I had tremendous level of success. I was one of the top 10 mortgage bankers in America, and then I was in the mortgage. I got to manage retail branches and had many bank branches at a very young age. By the time I was 35 years old, so I loved banking. I actually even got to live in Zurich, Switzerland for 2 years and do some really extraordinary banking deals. But I attended a very, I'll call it an Eagles level, a Bible study. I was attending a Bible study, and I'm not going to name drop who it was, but it's a very famous, influential business person of America. But at his office, we would have a Bible study every Friday morning at 5 a.m. And one Friday morning, Steve, he kind of corralled me and sat me down knee to knee, toe to toe, and pointing his finger in my face. And he said, "John Jubilee, you got to go full time in health and wellness. You are going to change the world." He said, "You will be to health and wellness what I am to the financial world." He said, "I really believe God wants you to go do this." And, I was baffled that somebody with a high business acumen would want a man who had had a 20-year successful career to leave his career. But pretty much from his office to the front door, I prayed and asked God, "Father, is this really you speaking to me through this man to take this leap of faith?" Basically, in the Bible, this would be like where it said to, where the prophet, burned his oxen and, he killed all the oxen and, kind of burnt every bridge that he had to his past. And for me, it was that moment, where I basically was burning the yoke, burning the oxen, and leaving banking forever. And I did in a moment. Within 72 hours, I had given away my company, stepped out full time, I didn't know what I was stepping into. I didn't know what it looked like. It was a giant leap of faith, totally trusting God, trusting the voice of the Holy Spirit, that I was on the mission that I really was called. This was really more of a calling than a profession. And that's how I stepped into health and wellness.
And if I don't have my facts wrong, you did it for 10 years for free.
I did do it. I did do it for 10 years for free because I really, I really was just helping everybody at that point in time. And it really took me, the protocol of Energized Health was a little bit like the Matrix, where they just plug them in and they get a download. It really was like I got a supernatural download of information. And yet I didn't really have all the understanding. It took me 10 years to reverse engineer all the science. I really didn't file my patents until just the last 24 months. And since then, I filed 2 patents for intracellular hydration, the only 2 in the world of intracellular hydration. And because I had to reverse engineer all the science. It's almost 560 pages of science of how the human body transforms at the cellular level.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you have some mentors along the way that convinced you had a higher calling than interest rates and currencies?
Well, actually, I did not. Other than that lightning strike moment of, a man who was, had 800 employees and a very successful business. The fact that he would even propose that to me opened my heart and my spirit to ask my ultimate mentor, which for me is my Heavenly Father, and the voice of the Holy Spirit. And that's all it took for me, was that to take that step and to take that leap of faith.
Okay. Chelsea, how about you? You also came from finance with little kids in the house. How did you make the shift from high finance to fitness and nutrition?
Yes, so I did come from a world of finance. So when I was young, early 20s, I actually had a broker license, and I dabbed in and out of the world of real estate investing, and I became a mortgage broker, and I had, employees, and I was doing my own thing. And then about 2 years before I met John, I just really felt I love helping people, and I loved helping people save money on their home, save money for their family, and get into homes, where it really made their dream come true, financially speaking, or even realistically in their home. And I had a shift. I just really honestly was in prayer, and I just felt like the Holy Spirit was guiding me to help people in a different way. It was actually birthed out of my own divorce that I went through. And it was incredibly, painful in our family. And I just kind of one day was thinking, I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. My mom got divorced at the same exact age that I got divorced, and we both just so happen to have 3 kids. So I was like, wow, this is like generational, and so I started looking into how trauma impacts, the mindset, how it impacts our decisions that we make. So that's what shifted me to start writing a book on neuroscience and how trauma affects our decision making, our life, our social, economical, every aspect. Comes out of the beliefs that we have that we form as we go through trauma and how we view the world. So that was a passion of mine to really kind of make that shift. And then I just so happened to meet John at an entrepreneur event. And I was there to interview a really well-known scientist, that has all this incredible information. A lot of people know him. And I was like, well, I'm going to go interview this guy. It was an entrepreneur event that we were at. And so John just so happened to, put his hand on my back when I was talking to this gentleman, and I turned around and he was like, hey, when you have a minute, I wanted to talk to you. I was like, okay. So we ended up staying up till like 4 a.m, and we were talking about the Holy Spirit, God, because those are really important things to John and I. And then we were talking about science, and he just so happened to know the intracellular hydration. And in the book I was writing at the time, I literally was looking for the last chapter that I was writing, which was on the importance of exercise. So I was like, well, this is interesting. So the beautiful thing about Energized Health is that, God really married, like not only did John and I get married, but we married, our passions. And so John has this amazing passion for intracellular hydration and making the cells healthy, which in turn makes the body healthy. And we both, equally share the passion in getting the mindset and the spiritual concept of life, building community, uplifting the spirit. We share that together. So we married, our protocols, so to speak. So it was a beautiful thing, that got birthed.
That is really beautiful. That is like kind of Romeo and Juliet, only you lived. What are some of your favorite case studies over the years, Chelsea? You've had thousands of clients come through Energized Health with a near perfect success rate. I believe only those that don't actually follow your protocol don't succeed. Who stands out as a special case?
Well, we have a protocol that people love. We have thousands, that have done the protocol. It's nationwide, so we have a lot of people, and unfortunately, we don't get to be face to face with most of everyone that does our protocol. So one of my favorites is probably a beautiful woman that we met in Southern California. And because we met her in person and we really kind of followed her journey with her, it was really such a sad story when we originally met her. She came into our living room. We invited her over and she was just crying. She was probably in her mid 60s, I believe, or early 60s at the time. And you could just tell that she had tried everything to get healthy. And her biggest thing too was her weight that just would not come off no matter what she did. So she's sitting in our living room just crying, like, I've tried everything. I've even gone on like peas and broccoli diet, where she's just eating vegetables for months on end. She's walking miles, drinking liters of water. And it's just so heartbreaking, when you're in front of someone who's crying, telling you their life journey of trying to get this weight off of them. And literally 88 days later, she's in our living room to give her testimony, and she's trim, beautiful. We get to meet her husband at a party that they invited us to a week later. She feels great. She's running around. Her husband thanked John and I for literally giving him his wife back, and her joy just oozed out of her. And it was just one of my favorite stories because I got to actually see it in front of my own eyes, her transformation and how much it impacted not only her life, but her marriage, her kids, her whole family.
John, how about you? You were patient or client number one, so you can't say yourself. Who will you never forget that you were able to help?
Well, obviously there's tens of thousands of people, and I'm just gonna. I have to share two. And they're both. They're both incredible. I'll share one male and one female. But I had a lady that multiple sclerosis. She was told she had about 2 years to live, and this lovely man decided he felt God wanted him to take care of her for her last few years of her life, and so he married her, thinking she was going to die in just a couple of years. So she couldn't even put on her own makeup. Her MS was so advanced, couldn't even put makeup on, couldn't function, could not do normal functions. And so this man was going to basically be her caretaker. And, fast forward, she gets on the protocol and she begins to reverse. And so little by little, she just continues to reverse until literally today, you could see her video documentary on our website where she doesn't just put on makeup. Now she works a full-time job alongside of her husband. She rides a bike. She dances. She can jog for 5 miles a day. She is a beautiful, glowing, looks like a model. So this man thought he was going to take care of a woman, watch her shrivel and die. And instead she blossomed in front of him. And now they have this beautiful love story together. And then the man that I'll say sticks out in my mind is a New York City fireman. He thought his life was over. He was trapped in a basement fire. He had bronchial airways disease because his lungs kind of burn up like a baggie and they get smaller. So his lungs were all burnt up. He literally could not exercise for 60 seconds when I met him. And he went from that to being permanently disabled. And he had 5 children. And so his kids just saw their dad, become a different human being. He went, he was a high school quarterback and then he gained 70 pounds of fat. He can't move for more than 60 seconds without sitting down. And same type of story. And at the end, he could literally jog for 5 miles. He lost 70 pounds of fat, looked like a bodybuilder. At the end of his transformation, and his kids are hugging him going, "Dad, doesn't it feel like a whole new world? I can wrap my arms all the way around you." And, this masculine New York City fireman, just tears running down his face because his whole life is completely transformed.
Wow, those are 3 amazing stories. Thank you for sharing those. So sad to switch gears to business, but now as a business, a lot of health and well-being companies sell things like books and audiobooks and supplements, and even GNC has water bottles with their logo on it. You've resisted that for many years, but now you have some recommended supplements that have proven to work. Why this product, and what are the benefits of it?
Yeah, well, first of all, for literally, I got to give Chelsea a lot of credit on this one. I literally turned down $78 million of partnerships with supplement companies because I wanted people to know our science stands alone. There is no magic pill. I wish there was. If there was one, I would be taking it. I really would. And I would certainly be recommending it to everyone else. But there are no magic supplements. We have to do the right things at the cellular level because if you're not doing that, there's no supplement that will help you. And so I always taught people, do you know why they're called supplements? Because they are a supplement. They only supplement the perfect things you're already doing. And if you're not doing the perfect things, no supplement can supplement the main thing. So it's like if you have a paycheck and a supplemental paycheck, it's only a supplement if you get the main paycheck. So our scientific protocol is the paycheck. That's the payoff, is to do that. And so that's why I resisted supplements for so many years. Now, in all those years, I still recommended a few supplements to accelerate your success. They won't cause your success, but they will accelerate it. And then when Chelsea and I, we got married and married our sciences, Chelsea, along with a few thousand of our clients, said, John, please just put your picture on us and tell us what to buy. And so Chelsea said, honey, if we make it a higher quality and we make it less expensive and we make it easier for people, wouldn't that be a good thing? And I said, baby, you are right. I'm going to humble myself and submit. And so then we did come up with just 3 simple products to add to the protocol. And so as a business, I think all of us as business people, we do have a responsibility to serve our client. It's service. So how can I serve my client the best? So, I was almost like that, that little strong-willed child, right? Like I don't want to give up my stance of I don't want to recommend a supplement, but to serve my clients, I needed to submit myself there and give them what they really needed and desired. And I really was recommending that anyway. So that was a major shift in our business to provide that.
All right. Well, Chelsea, it says there on your website, if you could transform your life, health, and vitality in just 88 days, would you do it? Would you believe it? Talk about the transforming process and how Energized Health can be the game changer people are looking for.
Yeah, so that's a good line. Would you do it? Would you believe it? Because we have all kinds of people that say, I never thought this would work for me because you have a money back guarantee. We decided to do it. And oh my gosh, like my life has changed. So I'm so glad that I did it. So the process is, again, it's not rocket science. It's really simple. So the science is not simple.
Kind of is science, but yeah.
It is. The science isn't simple, but we make it simple. We put it into a process that is easy to follow. In fact, most of our clients say that it's easier than anything else they've really done or tried. But the process, thinking at it from a standpoint of the fact that all of your human body is made up of cells. If you make your cells healthy, then your organs, your circulation, a lot of people come to us with brain fog or anything like that. It all just kind of fixes itself. So in terms of speaking from that point of view, it's very simple. Now, the science behind what actually causes those things to fall in place, it's many, many hundreds of pages, I believe, John usually shares of science. We have a patent pending on our science. A lot of people come to us. It's kind of like when you were in like gym class when you were a kid, you had a locker and a lock. And let's say your combo was 2, 10, 18, right? If you entered 10 to 18, your lock would not open. So a lot of people have the right things, so to speak, of what to do to get healthy. But a big challenge we come across is they don't have the right order in which to do them. And so your cell will never get unlocked to have that power created inside the mitochondria that is inside the cell. So especially like, because this is a business podcast, speaking to businessmen and women, what ends up happening is we're not even functioning at the capacity that our brain has to be able to, you know, withstand stress coming at us from day to day of just being a business person. We think we're operating at a high level. And some of you that are listening to this or watching this may be thinking that you already are aware that you actually have brain fog. But some are not aware until they actually do the protocol. And so many, especially business people, say, I cannot believe that I felt that way and thought I felt good. Now I know what it's like to actually feel good. And it's almost just like a river, like it just flows. You know, your creativity comes back. People start dreaming again. Like your brain is an electromagnetic organ. So what conducts electricity? Water, hydration. So when you're flooding that into your cells, it's like an explosion in a great way of what's going on inside the cell. And it just starts to flush all the stuff out that doesn't belong in the body and brings in just nothing but, you know, especially with your mindset, it just makes you feel like you know, took something that you can't describe. And most people say it like that. I can't even describe how I feel because I feel so good. There's like almost not even a word for it.
Transformation. John, tell us how your clients leverage their metabolism and burn fat all day long while reversing their metabolic age and improving brain function without giving up the foods they love, even if you're physically challenged or even disabled or it seems too overwhelming.
Yeah, well, there's a mouthful. So actually it's, again, I love to say this to people. It's not simple, but we do make it simple. So if any of you have ever done a paint by numbers, so if you ever do the paint by numbers, it's where you take, you know, there's 6 colors of paint, there's 6 numbers. All you do is put the right color paint in the right box. And next thing you know, you painted this beautiful painting. Well, could you have done it without your paint by numbers? Absolutely not. You know, you couldn't, just admit it. You know, you paint this beautiful painting, but because it was paint by numbers, it told you exactly the lines, exactly the color. That's what we do at the cellular level. So we actually help you reset your hypothalamus, reset your metabolism. So that it's like when you were 17 years old again. So here's kind of a fascinating dynamic. Just remember, you know, is there anyone when you were 17 years old, you woke up and said, oh, I got to count my calories today. I got to make sure I do my exercise. It's like, no, none of us did that. Why? Because our cells were healthy at 17 years old. Our body was naturally balanced. It was naturally hydrated. But through life and oxidation and stress, you know, we lose our hydration. Hydration goes out of the cells. If we lose just 10% of our hydration, half our neurotransmitters and brain synapses shut off. That's right. Most of us are supposed to be 8-cylinder cars and we're 4-cylinder cars. You're like the Ford Pinto. Now, you don't know it because it happened so slow. You went from 8 to 7 to 6 to 5 to 4 cylinders because of that slowly dehydrating cellular level. But you can reverse it the same way and you can get back 100% new neural pathways. It literally is like a lightning storm, you know, in your brain. It's really cool. Your enthusiasm, your joy, your vitality, you know, comes back. You become that best version of yourself. And when you do that, your metabolism is back how it was when you were 17 years old. So that's why people come up to us in a restaurant. Hey, I know who you are. What are you doing eating that double sausage, double pepperoni pizza and that carrot cake? Well, guess what? You build the house and then you move in the house. So once you build the house, you've reset your metabolism, reset your hypothalamus like back when you were 17 years old.
And Chelsea, all that while reducing the need for medications to be healthier than ever, gain mental clarity, increase energy and productivity by maximizing brain functions and neuroactivity without doing puzzles or mind exercises, and probably good for the sex life too.
Yes. Well, we have a lot of, couples that come to us and One of the big things is when you're taking high blood pressure medicine, which a lot of people are taking high blood medication. It's millions. Like, it actually shocked me when I learned the truth of it. One of the side effects can be, that erectile dysfunction for men. And for women, what happens is women age, it throws their hormones off. So like a lot of women may be premenopausal, postmenopausal, or literally going through it right now. And that changes your sex life. For men, their libido goes down as they get older. And so when you're putting all of this energy into a cell and making everything healthy, again, it's like that explosion I was telling you about earlier, so we have a lot of couples that are like, they don't like to talk about it on camera, but they're like, and the bedroom is getting really spicy too. So it's kind of fun for John and I because, that helps a couple's intimacy to be able to be intimate with each other again.
Yes. Now that we're all blushing, well, I want to thank you both for coming on the CEO special and to take a personal moment to thank you both in person for literally saving my life by showing me how to take 70 pounds of fat off my internal organs while gaining 10 pounds of muscle and 10 pounds of healthy hydration for a net 50 pounds off the scale, the gravity scale, and more energy than I know what to do with sometimes. God bless you both. And before we go, John, you're in town for a very special reason, world record setting lift. Tell us about that. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. And Steve, I'm excited because I never had a goal to get strong. It's a side effect of cellular hydration. So if you just imagine increasing your strength a quarter of a pound a week, that's all I did. So I was never trying to set a world record. I was just trying to be healthy at the cellular level. I just increased a quarter of a pound a week. And by the way, I'm happy to tell people, I'm going to post this online. My testosterone level, all natural, no testosterone, no HGH, no steroids, nothing except intracellular. My testosterone level, ready? 368. It's very natural and healthy for a man of my age. I know you thought I was 40 years old. When you're looking at me, most people think I'm 20 years younger. I am 63 years old. I'm 63 years old this year. And about to go chest press 555 pounds. Now, I never had a goal to lift heavy. It's all about health. It's all about being faithful and just doing the next right thing. And so I hope this can inspire all of us. If we'll just do the right thing consistently, and be healthy at the cellular level, we don't even know what's possible. So I'm very excited, and it'll be fun to post after the fact, after this lift.
And we're excited for you. We
Thank
will have
you.
exclusive footage of your big day added to this show. By the time people see it, it'll have happened. So good luck. And 555, that's a lot. Is that about a quarter ton, a little more?
And hey, and I do want people to know, and I'm about 179, 180, depending on the morning. But I'm 179 or 180 pounds. That's more than triple my body weight. So it is unheard of to do that type of multiple of body weight. But it's inspiring. It inspires me. I'm
inspired, and I hope you all are too. All right. Thanks again for coming on. Welcome back to my Book of the Day segment, where I review a book I think you'll like and can use in your business. During his storied career as head coach of the Chicago Bulls and Los Angeles Lakers, Phil Jackson won more championships than any coach in the history of professional sports. Even more important, he succeeded in never wavering from coaching his way, from a place of deep values. Jackson was tagged as the Zen master, half in jest by sports writers, but the nickname speaks to an important truth. This is a coach who inspired, not goaded, who led by awakening and challenging the better angels of his players' nature, not their egos, fear, or greed. This is a story of a preacher's kid from North Dakota who grew up to be one of the most innovative leaders of our time. In his quest to reinvent himself, Jackson explored everything from humanistic psychology and Native American philosophy to Zen meditation. In the process, he developed a new approach to leadership based on freedom, authenticity, and selfless teamwork that turned the hyper-competitive world of professional sports on its head. In 11 Rings, Jackson candidly describes how he learned the secrets of mindful and team chemistry while playing for the champion New York Knicks in the 1970s, managed Michael Jordan, the greatest player in the world, and got him to embrace selflessness even if it meant losing a scoring title, forging success teams out of players of varying abilities by getting them to trust one another and perform in sync, inspired Dennis Rodman and other uncoachable personalities to devote themselves to something larger than themselves, transformed Kobe Bryant from a rebellious teenager into a mature leader of a championship team. 11 times Jackson led his teams to the ultimate goal, the NBA championship, 6 times with the Chicago Bulls and 5 times with the Los Angeles Lakers. We all know the legendary stars of those teams, or think we do. What 11 Rings shows us, however, is that when it comes to the most important lessons, we don't know very much at all. This book is full of revelations about fascinating personalities and their drive to win, about the wellsprings of motivation and competition at the highest levels, and about what it takes to bring out the best in ourselves and others. That's it for this episode. Really hoped you liked it. If you like what you heard here, be sure to check out our other shows, the Mill Creek View, Tennessee, Washington, and now Florida, all podcasts and on Rumble, and subscribe to the mcview.us website, out daily, and thanks for doing it. Until next time, this is your host, Steve Abramowitz, CEO of the Mill Creek View, signing off.